What is happening in ODM? Is it scripted? Is it free fall? Is Raila setting two stories so that at the end of the day he can easily jump to the side that is convenient to him at that time? Or is he surely unable to control ODM the way he has controlled it from day one? Or has ODM at last allowed freedom of speech? Only the Almighty God knows. Even Raila himself may not even be known. Even the players in ODM, Raila included, may be in a free fall. But one thing is sure. Around this time next year, Sifuna will not be the Secretary General of ODM, especially the Secretary General of a united ODM. Items placed in a fridge can take ages to rot, but once they are taken out of the fridge and placed out in the summer sun, they decompose very fast, more than they would have ordinarily have done that. ODM is such a thing that has been placed in a fridge for ages, for decades. Now it has been set out in the summer sun, and rotting will come out very fast. ODM members have been hiding their feelings and always following every whim of what Raila says. It's like an item placed in the fridge now that it has placed in an open summer sun. The more people in any organization, the more they have divergent views. But because ODM has always suppressed views, it has always looked up to Raila, a lot will happen. Now people will now start coming out in their true color. They have never known how to freely express their own feelings. It's like chicks. The chicks which were brought up under uh, very strict care. Now they have become chicken. They are left out to work in the field. Predators can easily get them. And that is how ODM is. Sifuna's activity may create a wider gap in Luhya land, especially in Bukusu land. Bukusu's current opposition leader is Eugene Wamalwa, who by nature is a very weak person. If Natembea's Tawe star shines bright, even more bright, one of the people or the person who will most likely be affected is Eugene Wamalwa. As if that is not damage enough, to add to that, should Sifuna come out with his other force and bolt and get out of ODM, or even inherit ODM as a party, the person who would most likely suffer more, a lot of people will suffer, because actually it is possible that some people in Kenya Kwanza do like Sifuna, but they don't like him because he is under somebody else in ODM. It is quite possible, even if there are 5 people who are in, let's say, UDA, whom if Sifuna became the leader of ODM or his own political outfit, they would really support him. But what we are trying to say here is that if Sifuna comes out bright, the person who is going to suffer politically is Eugene Wamalwa more than any other force, including Force Kenya. Kenya Kwanza. Chances of Raila using Sifuna as plan B are very, very slim. And they are thinning by the day. In Kenya, we don't have ideology. Let me correct myself. In Kenya, we have an ideology, a political ideology. 97% of Kenyans are social democrats. A no party state or a one party state would be very good for Kenya. A no party state or a one party state. The difference is very little. The difference is very little because when we had only KANU, it was a one party state. Even if we declare that Kenya there will be no party, somebody just campaigns on his own or her own, still it will be a one party state because the party would be Kenya citizenry. The only problem that there would be there in a no party state or a one party state would be to address the issues of who would be the head of government. How would someone be elected as the head of government if we have no party or we have a single party? How would that person be elected and how would that person serve up his or her term? That would be the only problem. Actually, in 1980, before 1990s, we had a one-party state. And those who started the 1990s multi-party state issues did so because of two things. One, they did so because there was no freedom of expression. And once one is expelled from the ruling party, his or her political life dies. So people wanted to have a multi-party so that you can disagree with those in power, but still your political life is not killed. If Moi would not have brought in this thing of expelling people from KANU, I am very sure even today we'd still be having a one-party state and KANU would be that one party. In a single-party system or in a no-party system, we only have to address the president, as I've said. Now, back to ODM. It was started in the year 2005, after the 2005 constitution, referendum on constitution, which failed. Now, this is what happened. The Electoral Commission then wanted to start a system which was very simple for people to understand, which did not side with any political party, which did not side with any tribe, which did not do whatever. For example, if you were to decide to place there a cow, people would take it that maybe you are siding with Maasai, Turkana, Kalenjins. And if you are to place there a jembe, someone would say maybe you are siding with tribes that do farming. So it was decided to place two very simple things, which you can explain to a person with very little education, and things to be so diverse that one wanting to vote in one way cannot accidentally vote the other way. So it was decided, let us decide on something that is easy to understand and that cannot be easily be communicated in one way or another. If you are to place there, let's say a lion, somebody would say that you are siding with Ford Kenya, something like that. So it was to be a simple thing. Then the Electoral Commission decided that when somebody gets it wrong, it is either an X or a 0. And if someone gets a right, it is a tick. So they looked for what do you call? They looked for a fruit that resembled a tick. And they found that the fruit was banana. They found that the fruit was banana. And they found a fruit that looked like a 0. That was an orange. So they said that if you want the constitution to be agreed, then you give it a tick, which is a banana. But if you found that you did not find the constitution okay, you give it a 0, which is an orange. It was very easy to explain to everybody because everybody in Kenya knew that. So when the orange team was going around the country campaigning against the constitution, one day they reached Kakamega. And when it came for the chance of Najib Balala to give a speech, he said that they would not just defeat the constitution, but soon after defeating the constitution, they would start a political party, which they would call it Orange Democratic Party. Said they are going to start one which would call Orange Democratic Party. So in every meeting they went, he would say so. A lawyer called Imanyara secretly went and registered the party. He went to the Register of Society. Those days, if you wanted to register a political party, you went to a Register of Society. He went there and he registered that as a political party, Orange Democratic Movement. When others were busy going around, when people were going around busy saying ODM, or orange, and others saying banana, he sneaked and went and registered the political party that he called. He went and registered a political party that he called Orange Democratic Movement. When he registered the political party that he called Orange Democratic Movement, people did not know. They were very busy going round campaigning for bananas. They were campaigning for banana. For orange, they were doing the same. So when the referendum was defeated, the people who were in orange went now to register a political party called Orange Democratic Party. When they went there, they were surprised to find that Imanyara had already registered the political party under his name. So they could not do it. But then, this is Kenya. I can remind you of, do you know why Vodacom in Kenya is called Safaricom? You know, in Kenya, people are very clever. They just sit down, register a lot of organizations with the names that they know people will rush for it. So when Vodacom wanted to enter Kenya, somebody rushed and registered a company called Vodacom Kenya Limited. So when Vodacom came to Kenya, they wanted to register their company. They were told somebody has registered that. Go and convince him to give you the license. So this person went to Vodacom. He wanted this Vodacom people went to this person. They wanted their name back. He gave them very strong conditions. Which they were not happy with. That is why they decided to call the company Safaricom. If you go to Tanzania, it is called Vodacom Tanzania. You go to Uganda, Vodacom Uganda. You go to DRC, it's called Vodacom. All African countries, it's called Vodacom. But when it came to Kenya, somebody had registered the name Vodacom Kenya Limited. So he gave strong points, and they told him, you can eat that name. So that is how they called the company Safaricom. Yeah, it is Vodacom in a country where we have Safari. Now, also, Imanyara had also known that if he would have a bargaining ground if he registered ODM. So when immediately after the referendum, these people went to Imanyara. They wanted him to give them the party. he refused. Maybe he gave conditions that were not pleasing. So they went back there and registered a second political party that they called Orange Democratic Movement in Kenya, which they called ODM Kenya. And when they started the ODM Kenya, they took people who were very closely associated. Kina Senator Manzo, they took them to be the officials of the ODM Kenya. And then when they started going around, they had to, they wanted to, they were agreeing on a way on which ODM Kenya would have its flag bearer during the elections. But Raila, being the Raila we know, actually some of us, like me, I knew him a long time ago, but the Gen Zs have made Kenyans now, the Gen Zs have exposed him. Raila and those on his side organized that whenever there was a public meeting, they organized that whenever there was a public meeting and Kalonzo Musyoka, when he spoke, they would jeer him. And when Raila spoke, they would cheer him. This was to set an environment where of whom to be elected or selected to be the ODM Kenya flag bearer. But then Raila's team recognized something. They recognized that Kalonzo's people were the office bearers. You see, you can do a lot of things, but if you have a hostile office bearers, things cannot work out well. So why not have a change and have a neutral team so that when there is an election, where everybody has integrity in the outcome. Kalonzo's team stuck to their only remaining chief, which was office bearers. They refused to follow to call for elections and stuck with the officials, office bearers, because they knew that that was their only remaining bargaining chip. So they stuck to the office bearers. That is how the original ODM, having found that the party had been taken over by Manyara, had gone to start the ODM Kenya. And when they were in the ODM Kenya now, they split into two. Split into two. Then out of the blues, Imanyara was photographed handing over the original ODM to Raila. I remember that picture very well because that time, as Imanyara was handing over the certificate, uh, his concealed pistol was photographed. It only came to be discovered when it appeared in the newspapers. What happened in the background? Nobody knows. During public meetings, when now we had two ODMs, you see that is the problem now. Because earlier on, a united Ford would have dislodged Kanu. A united Ford would have dislodged Kanu, but it broke into two, Ford Asili and Ford Kenya, weakening the original Ford. Now, ODM has been split into two. It doesn't matter whether you say this one is the stronger one and this one is the weaker. If you have the stronger one 5 points and the weaker one has, if you have the stronger one having 3 points and the weaker one having 2 points, still, if they would have been together, they would have had 5 points. So that is how, just like Ford, ODM also split into two. Now, during the ODM Kenya meetings, Mutula Kilonzo Senior would act as the master of ceremony. He would tell people to wave like a car's wiper. So, and you see, he used to pronounce it in a Kikamba accent. Fanyeni kama wiper, not wiper, but wiper. and people would I nearly said, and people would check. People would laugh. People would laugh, and that is how ODM Kenya later changed its name to Wiper Democratic Movement. Today, it has changed itself to Wiper Democratic Party or something. There is a name that it has changed. I'll write in the comment when I remember. Now back again to ODM. If it is true that Sifuna is freely expressing his issues and it is not Raila's plan B, then ODM is finding itself in a very strange position. A party that only one person gives direction. For it to turn into a democratic party is very hard. I would want to say that ODM is where it is because of Gen Z in general, and the girl in particular. You remember the girl who told Raila that you can now hand over issues of because you have really played your part and it is now our part. I would repeat that. I would want to say that ODM is where it is because of the Gen Z. I remember exposing Raila, especially on the issues of committee, on how he uses situations to his personal benefit. And you know all that happened. There was much pressure for me to either pull down the videos or even block them. Thank God I did nothing. The Gen Z, to some extent, has Gen Z, and to some extent even age, has weakened Raila. I have lived to see where everybody vilified me to have been ABCD. Now everybody is saying, Kumbe, you had something to say. Do you remember Sergeant Do? He used to walk around with like a small stick that he used to claim that it could read all evil plannings as they happened. That, in a certain vernacular, is called Aguambo. That is mysterious. It took the Gen Z to identify Raila as human and not as an Aguambo. Once upon a time, Kanu was almighty, just like ODM is. It will take ODM half the time Kanu took to be a shadow of itself. Or is it a shadow of his former glory? There are allegations that Sifuna is bitter that he wasn't made a CS, and or that he asked for millions and either was not given or was given little. The allegations most probably are true, but the figures, as usual, are exaggerated. When you talk of he was promised 300 million, remove a zero, maybe he was promised 30 million. He has to know that all politicians have to pay you before they act. Just like you people cheaters. Sifuna, I'm sure you even cheated as them. That, if I become the senator for Nairobi, I'll do this, I'll do this. And once you are sworn in, you forgot. You are testing your own medicine. Just like you cheated us that once you become what you are. And when you got it, you forgot. That is how those who promise to give you money, or those who promise to give you cabinet secretaryship, did not do so. You are testing what we do. We are used to that. Matatizo You know the song Matatizo Nimeyazoea by Wanyika. Chances of them honoring him are almost zero. And he makes it worse by the public tantrums that he's causing. Meanwhile, can ODM prepare to join KANU as a once upon time invisible party that is there back just by name. Bad luck, it happens when ODM itself is now becoming a democratic party. Uh, if ODM is going to die, you see, Kanu's lifespan, it is still there. Kanu's lifespan is double what ODM lifespan appears to be headed, because Kanu is still there by name, and ODM is also going to be there just by name. The glory that was there, the invisibility of ODM is going. And unfortunately, it is happening while Raila is still alive. Even his own invisibility, now you can see people can talk about him without any fear. That's life.